Okay, so at this point we should be recording. Okay, so I want you to type your answer in the chat to the question that just popped up there for you. What is one physical characteristic that someone might use to identify the type of mineral that they're analyzing, the name of the mineral that they're analyzing? So you learned about 5 different characteristics, and I want you to type in any one characteristic that you remember from your videos yesterday. I'm seeing lots of things in the chat. Very good. Oh yeah, okay, so I'm seeing, oh, you know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing a lot of, I guess I'd call, yeah, you could say they're characteristics, things that a mineral has to be in order to be called a mineral. Yeah, so it has to be a solid, it has to be naturally occurring, it has to be inorganic, meaning it's not alive, right? Those are excellent things, right? It has to have specific chemical formula. Nice. What I'm thinking about are some of the other things that people are mentioning in the chat. For example, the color, what we just did in our do now, right? So that's one physical characteristic or a physical property. I should have probably said physical properties of minerals. The color, which we talked about in the do now. The streak. What is the streak? Raise your hand in the reactions there if you want to share out what do we mean when we say streak. Carla, go ahead.
You can see the true color of the mineral by the streak.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way you test the streak is with a streak plate. And I'm going to show you how we do that today. Okay, nice job. So streak is one of them. We said color is one of them. Let's see, other folks are saying, oh yes, luster. Who would like to tell me what is luster? Raise your hand in the chat and tell us if you want to say. Laura, go ahead. What is luster?
Luster is the way in which light reflects off of a mineral surface.
Excellent. Very good. Very good. So luster, when you're looking at a mineral, it's like how reflective it is. And there are 2 basic types of luster. Raise your hand and tell us, what are the 2 basic types of luster? Ashley, Luna, go ahead.
Metallic and non-metallic.
Bingo. Nice job. So metallic versus non-metallic. So if it's metallic, it looks like a metal, right? Like this mineral looks kind of metallic. Looks like shiny and kind of looks, it looks like a metal, right? Like you would typically think of as a metal. And something that does not look like a metal, like say this one, this is non-metallic. Okay, awesome. All right, so we've got color, we've got streak, we've got luster, and then I know I saw another one in here. I'm scrolling through the amazing chat with all of your awesome suggestions. I feel like I'm missing one. There should be 5. Color, luster, streak, breakage, Jaylene. Yeah, very good. There are 2 different types of breakage, like how a mineral would break. Like if I were to actually take a hammer to it and hit that mineral, how it would break. What are the 2 different types of breakage? Raise your hand in the reactions there if you want to share that out. I see one hand, but I know I've heard from Carla before, so I'm looking to see some new people raising their hands to share out. There we go. All right, Jaylene, what are the 2 different types of breakage?
Cleavage and fracture.
Excellent. Yes. So cleavage means that it's going to have some flat surfaces. It's going to break on these really flat, straight lines, I guess, right? It actually comes from the word, if you guys have ever seen the big knives that are called meat cleavers, a meat cleaver cleaves the meat. It just cuts it right in half. And so that's where that word actually comes from, okay? And then fracture is when minerals just break randomly. Like if you fracture your arm, the mineral just like breaks, or the bone just breaks kind of in like lots of different scattered areas, right? So that's what fracture means. Awesome. All right. And then there's one last mineral property that we did not get to yet, and that is hardness. Yeah, I see you, Marvelous. Nice job. Yes, and other people coming in on the chat. Nice job. So when we talk about hardness, we're talking about not like how hard it is if you break it, because that's breakage. Hardness means, can you scratch it? Either with another mineral or with your fingernail, or maybe you can get it to scratch something else, like, for example, a piece of glass. Okay, and so it's a way to test how resistant a mineral is to scratching, hardness. Okay, all right, so that's our review of the different mineral properties. Now what we're going to do is we're going to practice. Okay, so this is where Mrs. Lehnert is going to do some serious crazy technology. Let's see if she can do this correctly. She practiced it a lot. Yes, I think I can do this. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. Or is that a train? I think that's a train. All right, I'm going to do this. All right, so hopefully you guys can see what I'm seeing on my screen, yes? Mr. Grayson, can you see minerals and such?
Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so I have over here, you can even see my hand, yeah? So I've got, this is the mineral that we're gonna try to identify today. I probably should have given myself a little manicure. Sorry about that. So this is the mineral we're gonna try to identify today. And we're going to identify the physical properties of the mineral first. And then we're going to use our Earth Science reference tables to try and figure out what mineral it is. And then you're going to be able to do that, not with actual minerals, but with a practice worksheet, okay? So first of all, luster. What do you think? Do you think this is metallic or non-metallic? And I can actually even like pick up some pieces of it. So you can kind of see, it's kind of like a flaky mineral. You can see, like you can actually see through this little
Can I
piece
say
that
something really quickly?
Yes, please.
You know what it looks like to me?
What?
You know how you have your screen protector and you take it off and it's like cracked? That's how it looks.
Yes. Yeah. And you have that little like plastic piece that goes over it. Yeah, I agree. Actually, they used to use this mineral as windows. In fact, the name comes from the city where they used this mineral because they had a lot of it and they used this mineral as windows. So that kind of makes sense that it looks like that. So I see in the chat that a lot of folks are saying metallic. Yeah. And it's tricky. This one is tricky. In fact, I think if I were to look at it from where you guys are at, I might say that as well. In person, it doesn't really look metallic. It looks shiny, but it doesn't look like a metal. And that's where it gets kind of tricky, right? So thank you for your, it's okay to be wrong in here, right? Because in fact, some of these things, I'll accept a lot of different answers. This one happens to be non-metallic, okay? This one happens to be non-metallic. If somebody is really cool with annotations on Zoom, does somebody want to circle non-metallic on the screen right now? If you are good with the whiteboard feature in Zoom, thank you. Nice job, Carla. So non-metallic, that's what this mineral is. All right, next up, hardness. Is it harder than glass or softer than glass? So I've got a piece of glass right here. Move this out of the way so we can see what I'm doing. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the mineral and I'm going to drag it across the glass. And did it leave a streak? Did it leave a scratch? No.
No.
It's just like gliding right across there, right? So yeah, so I see Camille in the chat is saying that it's softer than the glass. You are absolutely right. It is softer than the glass. So would somebody like to circle that on our sheet there or on our screen? Thank you, Chanel. Nice job. All right, next up is breakage. Cleavage or fracture? What do you think? Does it have nice flat surfaces? Or does it seem to be just fracturing randomly? What do you guys think? I see somebody circled cleavage. And Marvelous is saying cleavage as well. And you're right. It's got this nice flat surface, right? And it actually just kind of peels away. It's like got these flexible like sheets, right? And so it's definitely flat surfaces, cleavage, okay? Nice job. All right, next one is streak. So for this one, I'm gonna use this thing called a streak plate. It's a white piece of porcelain. You can see that it's been used in the past, right? And all I'm gonna do the same thing like I did with the glass. I'm just gonna drag it across that streak plate and see if it leaves a light color or a dark color or no color. Yep, and I see somebody has highlighted our lighter color, no color in the Zoom there, and you're absolutely right. So that's definitely leaving a light color or no color at all. Okay, so that's what we would say for streak. And then there are other characteristics that we can test. For example, I have some hydrochloric acid here, and it's dilute, so it shouldn't hurt anything, but I'm wearing some glasses to protect my eyes just in case. And all you do is you take a little dropper full of that, and we put a little drop of it on the mineral, and we see, is it gonna bubble? And if it bubbles, then we would say it bubbles with acid. And if it doesn't bubble, then we'd say that it doesn't do anything. There's nothing. You guys see any bubbling? I don't see any bubbling. No bubbling. Boring mineral. All right. So no bubbling, which means it doesn't bubble with acid. And another thing that we can test is how easily we can scratch it with a fingernail. That's also hardness, right? But it's kind of a helpful. Oh, no bubbling. Nice. Whoever did that on the sheet. Nice job. You guys are good. So I'm going to try scratching it with my fingernail. Let's see if it leaves a scratch. Oh, look at that. Can you see it? Yeah. Or did it just leave off some of my fingernail? Nope, nope, my fingernail is still intact. Did it leave? Oh, yeah. It left like a groove in the actual mineral. I can feel that groove in the mineral, right? So we would say easily scratched with fingernail. And that's a distinguishing characteristic. It was really, really easy to scratch that with my fingernail, okay? So whoever did the no bubbling, oh yeah, nice, easily scratch with fingernail. You guys are awesome. Okay, nice. Okay, so now we've got all of the physical properties. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna see if we can identify this using the reference tables. So our reference tables are found, and you can do a Google search for this, but I'm gonna show you how to use them first, and then I'll show you how to find them. So once again, Mrs. Lehnert has to do some sneaky sharing here. Okay, so now what you should be seeing is a page in the Earth Science reference tables. And I'm going to actually scroll so you can see this whole thing. Mr. Grayson, is that big enough? Do I need to make it a little bigger? Or are we good?
That looks good.
It's pretty good? Okay,
Yeah.
good. So this is the Earth Science reference tables. If you want to take a look, I usually, when I Google this to find the page, I literally type in ESRTs, Earth, because it stands for Earth Science Reference Tables. If you do a Google search for ESRTs, it will literally be the very first thing that pops up in your Google page. Okay, so you can feel free to do that if you want to, and you could take a look at it really quick. Miss Donahue, check your yeah, maybe. And so we're hopefully going to be able to look through all of this year. There are 16 pages to these earth science reference tables. We might not get to them all this year, but that's okay. And if you can't find it right now, don't worry about it. I'm going to show you exactly how to use this right now. And then we'll make sure that you can find yours, and then we'll start doing some other practice questions together, okay? So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll to the very last page, because that's the one we are actually starting with, the last page. So the first one that you get to learn about is on the last page. Oh, look, and I forgot to erase all the fun stuff that I was practicing with. So let me just erase all that right now. Look at all this good stuff that you guys are going to learn today. See, you got to practice before you see the students on Zoom. Otherwise, it all gets all crazy. Okay, so we discovered, what color should I start with? Let's start with red, so we can really see it. So we discovered with our mineral today, some different properties of common minerals, right? So that's the name of this chart. It's a table. So we've got all of our different characteristics at the top here. And then here's the mineral name. This is what we're going for. We're trying to figure out the name of this mineral today that we just identified all the properties for, okay? And we always start on the very far left. So we're going to start here with luster. And if you remember, we figured out that the luster was a little bit, it did look a little bit metallic, but I finally told you that it was probably a non-metallic luster. So we know automatically it cannot be any of the minerals up here, because all of these minerals here, graphite, galena, magnetite, pyrite, those are all metallic. So I know I don't have to look at that anymore, right? So just knowing the luster of the mineral eliminates all those minerals for me. Woo! Okay? It could be either, because that could be non-metallic, or it could be any one of these non-metallic minerals. Whoa, sorry. Right here, okay? So it could be any one of those. So the next thing I do is I look at the next column, which is hardness, okay? So when I look at hardness, we discovered that it was it was softer than glass, right? And you need to know that glass has a hardness of 5.5. So because glass has a hardness of 5.5, I'm looking for a number that's less than 5.5 on this list. So I know it can't be 1, 2, it can't be 2 to 5, it can't be 3, 5, so 5.5, oh wait, no, it could be any of those, right? What did I say? Softer than glass, sorry. I get mixed up sometimes. So 5.5 would be down here. So all of these, 5.5, all the way down to 6.5, it probably isn't any of these minerals, right? So I can cross those off. And I know I can ignore all of those, right? Next up is the next column, which is breakage. So breakage, either cleavage or fracture. The check mark means that that is the form of breakage that it had. And we said that ours was cleavage. So I look for a check mark in the cleavage box. Oh, wow, they're almost all of them. The only one that wasn't was this one, which is sulfur. But that's okay. At least that eliminates that one for me. So I know it can't be sulfur. Woo-hoo. Okay, what's next? After cleavage was common colors. Okay. Well, our mineral was kind of like it kind of looked clear. It was definitely like a lighter color, like maybe a grayish, something like that. Great question. You do not have to do what I'm doing on your paper. No, you don't have to do that at all. Just kind of follow along and listen as I'm going through this to make sure you understand how I'm figuring this out. That's all. Just kind of getting used to this sheet as we go along, okay? And then if we look at the color, like a lot of these colors, it could be, I don't know, white to green. I don't know, maybe. I don't think so though. It doesn't really look green and it doesn't really look white. So I think I'm going to cross that one out because I don't think that could be it. White to pink or gray? Maybe. Pinkish grayish? Maybe. I'll put a question mark there, okay? Colorless to yellow. Colorless means clear. So that could be, so it could be this mineral. Colorless to white, it could be that one. Black to dark brown, ooh, no way. It's definitely not a dark brown or a black, so I can eliminate that one. Colorless could be clear. Variable just means any color, okay? And then all the rest of them are colorless or variable. Okay, so color didn't really help us that much, but we kind of knew that was going to happen, right? Because color is not a real reliable property. All right, the last column here that we can look at is called distinguishing characteristics, okay? So greasy feel. Does the mineral have a greasy feel? Nope. It just kind of feels like paper. No. So I don't think it's that mineral. Greasy feel. So I don't think it's talc. Okay, good. Easily scratched by fingernail. Ooh, that was one of the properties that we had, wasn't it? And it does maybe match up with the color. Okay, so it could be selenite gypsum. Next one, because I don't want to stop there. I just want to keep going and make sure, right? Sanjiha, yes, ESRT in Google, and it should be the first link that comes up if you're looking for it. But again, you don't have to do that yet. Just kind of follow along with what I'm doing for now. And then, let's see, the next one, flexible in thin sheets. Oh yeah, right? I could peel it off in those thin sheets. So it could be this one. It could be muscovite mica. What about the next one? Cubic cleavage, cube. Does it look like a cube? No, that did not look like a cube. Does it have a salty taste? Uh-oh. Should I taste it? Miss Donahue is egging me on. She wants me to taste it. You know what? Normally I would, right, Mr. Grayson, in class?
All right.
I think in the age of COVID, perhaps I better not. Thanks. Evan's looking out for me. Evan was like, I don't think that's safe. I will tell you that I know that this one does not taste salty from previous experience, okay? Okay, so we're gonna cross that one off. It is not halite, okay? We're left with 3 other ones. And 2 of them say bubbles with acid. Did that bubble with acid? No. So I know I can cross those off. And then this last one, fluorite, cleaves in 4 directions. All that means is it has 4 sides. This one has basically 2 sides, right? It's flat. So I don't think it's fluorite either. Okay. Now, a lot of this stuff, I'll be honest with you, if you're looking at this stuff and going, how the heck is she doing this? Yeah, it is. It's science. This took years of experience for me to do this, right? Like I have a lot of experience identifying minerals. So if you're feeling like, oh my God, there's no way I could do this, don't worry about it. Because honestly, as long as you're making a decision based on what you see, there's a lot of possible answers here, okay? The best possible answers based on what we just did are these 2. So it's either selenite gypsum or muscovite mica. And honestly, if you identified a mineral and said that, I would be like, beautiful, that's amazing. Because you're basing it on what you observed as the physical properties, okay? All right, so let's try practicing this, okay? And the way we're gonna practice this is, too many windows, here we go. We are going to, here we go. So I said either muscovite mica or gypsum. Oh, by the way, muscovite, it was used as windows in Russia, and it's named after the town in Russia called Muscovy. And that's actually what they used it for. So they named the mineral after the town. Kind of cool. And selenite gypsum is very similar. This is selenite gypsum. This is named after the Greek goddess of the moon, because the whitish color just seemed to shine. So I just thought that was kind of cool. Okay, let's take a look at where your assignment is in Canvas. And let's start that together so that that way you feel a little bit more confident about this. So if you go to Canvas in modules here, oops, and we are in week 2. Today is Tuesday. So here is it's our minerals practice, A, assignment 1.2A. Okay. And the assignment says, today you will practice identifying minerals using your earth science reference tables, your ESRTs for short, or as Mrs. Lehnert calls it, your BFF, your best friend forever. Click here for a digital version. So you can go ahead and, if you haven't found it on your Google, go ahead and click right here and it will open it up for you. If you scroll to the very first, like frequently reused resources, I even highlighted it yellow, earth science reference tables. And so there's your reference tables that should open up. And again, we're using the last page, so you can scroll all the way down today. And you can look at this anytime you want to. You know, just kind of take a peek and see what's in here. But we'll be looking at a lot of these pages this year. Okay. Did you guys hear the lovely music going on? Okay. Right, so that's the page you're going to use. If we click back to our Canvas page. Oh, by the way, there are lots of different versions you saw there, right? Spanish version, if you're a Spanish, if you want to see the Spanish version, or there's Chinese, there's a Korean version of the reference tables, right? So they're all linked there on that page. Mrs. Lehnert will show you how to use the page. I did that already. I recorded it. Once I download the recording for today, I'm going to put it here so you can click right here and find that video. And then I'm going to be doing some of the questions that you see in this practice, so follow along with me as I do those questions. There's a mix of short answer, multiple choice, fill in, and there are hints available if you get stuck. If you have questions during the Zoom meeting, you can just raise your hand or type them in the chat. And if you have questions afterwards, I'm here for office hours today at 2:55 or tomorrow or all week, okay? So you can ask for help. So when you click there, it will open it up in a new browser. There it is. I'm gonna move it over here so you can see it at the same time. So if you have this ability, if you're using a computer, I find this to be helpful, right? I show the reference tables on one side of my screen, and then I drag, I don't know if you guys saw that, I drag this over here to a different window so that way I can have them like side by side. So if you're using a computer, this is kind of a helpful thing to do, right? So you can see these things side by side. All right, so the first question, what are the 2 different types of luster? Choose 2 answers. So you can either raise your hand in the chat, raise your hand, or you can type your answer in the chat. Whatever you think. We're going to do these first few together so that you can get a feel for what to do here. Tetchen, what do you think?
Metallic and non-metallic.
Metallic and non-metallic. Do you agree, Laura?
Yes.
Yes. All right, so we're going to try it. Metallic, non-metallic. And it should pop up, it pops up green if you got it right. If it pops up red, then you got it wrong, okay? All right, nice job. Go on to the next one. What is the range of hardness found on the chart in your earth science reference tables, and how does this compare with Mohs hardness scale? Choose the best answer. So for this one, what do you think? Carla?
I think it's the range is 1 through 7, but most hardness scale goes from 1 through 10.
So how did you figure that? Yeah, how did you figure that one out, Carla?
Because I saw it here on the thing that I have, the reference thing.
Yeah, so if you look under the hardness column, 1 is the lowest, and if you go all the way down to the bottom, you can see 7. It actually goes up to 7.5, but there's not that option, right? So 7 looks good to me. When I click it, yeah, it gives me a green check mark. Nice job. All right, so moving on to the next one. What type of breakage is more common, cleavage or fracture? And if you get stuck, there's a hint. Hint tells us, look at the very bottom of the breakage column. Dominant means the most. Where's that at? Okay, so here's the breakage column. Cleavage fracture. Dominant form of breakage. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm looking to see the check marks, like which column has more check marks. So you might have to count them up. All right, what do you think, Techen? Cleavage, and it looks like Carla agreed with you, and it looks like Laura agrees. Yep, so if you type in cleavage, and it doesn't matter if you type a lowercase or an uppercase, I made these case insensitive, so it should give you a check mark if you are correct, okay? Okay, so hopefully you're getting the idea here. We're gonna do one more together, and then you can work ahead. You don't have to wait for me. You can work ahead if you have this on your own computer. The last one we'll do together here. For the mineral quartz, identify the properties using page 16 in your reference tables and type in your answers in the table below. So quartz, we have to find quartz. Let's see, graphite, quartz, there's all the way at the bottom. So here's quartz, all the way at the bottom. And so we have to type in all of the different properties. So the first one, luster. What is the luster of quartz? Techen is on fire today. Go for it, Techen.
Non-metallic.
Non-metallic. Do we agree with her? Well, I can't see if you guys are raising your hands or if you're giving a thumbs up. Let's see here. No. Do we agree with Techen? Do we say that it's non-metallic? There it is. Oh, I'm not seeing anybody's hands up. We're not sure? Are we already working on our own? That could be. People are like, I'm just working. I'm doing my own thing here. Let's see. Quartz. Going over to the other side here. Yep. Techen, I think you're right. I see it right here. Non-metallic. So you should just be able to type in non-metallic. And I tried to do any possible spelling that you might have for that one. And it should give you, you have to get all of them right in order for it to give you the full points. I believe I gave you 5 points for this one. Nice. All right. Hardness. What is the hardness of quartz? I see it, Laura and Jordan, you're right. It's 7. Nice job. Oh no, I typed in 9, didn't I? So that means I got it wrong. Did it tell me I got it wrong? Oh, no, it didn't do anything. 7? Yeah. Tell me I got it wrong. It's not telling me. Oh, there we go. Now I got to go to the next one. Got it. Oh, it's different for a teacher versus a student. I don't know what you guys see on your end. Okay. Breakage. What is the breakage of quartz? I think they've got it already. I think they're like moving along. That's what I think's happening. Ashley Luna says fracture. Nice job, Ashley. It is indeed fracture. Good job. I looked for that by looking at the little check mark. The check mark is in the column right here for fracture, right? When I look up at the top, right up here. Okay, so that's how I knew that. Nice job. Thank you, Laura, for agreeing. The color of quartz. What does it say under the color for quartz? Jaylene.
Colorless or variable?
Yeah, variable. Variable just means it varies. Like a variable in math class is like, it could be A or X or B, right? It varies. And so that's the same thing in these colors. It could vary in color. It could be a different color. So we'd say colorless or variable. All right. Ooh, nice job. You guys are doing great. Okay, and then composition. We didn't look at this one. Composition is the second to last column. It's right next to the mineral name. That's what the mineral is made of, what it's composed of. And those are chemical formulas, right? So you could just write down whatever the chemical formula is for quartz. And that is down here. Yeah, nice, Laura. SiO2. And if you can figure out how to do the subscripts on your computer, awesome. But I don't think you have to in order to get this one correct. Okay? So that's the basics. Do your best. On this worksheet, remember, there are a lot of questions here. Remember, you can always submit it, and if you don't get the right answer, go back and try again, right? You can always go back and try again, because it'll tell you if you got it right the first time. It'll come up as green. You can see that, and if you don't get it right, fix it, okay? All right. It is due, as all of these assignments are due by Thursday at 9 p.m. I strongly recommend that you do these tonight so that you're ready for the lab tomorrow, though, okay? All right.
I don't know how to use my BFF.
What do you mean, Abel? Ask me a more specific question.
I don't know like really how to like look for things. I'm confused.
Yeah, there's a lot on here, right? That's okay to be confused. I think you're absolutely right. I'm proud of you for being so brave to ask. There's a lot on here. And I'll be honest, when I first looked at this, like, it took me a long time. I was like, oh, I had to read a lot, okay? So I think that's just what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to take some time, read through it. That's what learning is all about, right? It takes you time to write an essay, write a paragraph in Zoll's class. It's gonna take you some time to learn these reference tables, and that's okay. Give yourself that time. Okay. So remember, I'm here at office hours today, 2:55. I am happy to go through this with you. Like, and you can say, like, we can go through question by question. You can say, I think it's this one. Is that right? I'm happy to help you with that. Okay? All right. Good, good, good. Yeah, Mr. Grayson, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I know that was a lot today. We won't spend that much time each day, obviously. I know we've got health class coming up, so if you need to go ahead and log out of here, finish this up tonight, come to office hours and I can help you out. Otherwise, I will see you guys at health later on in just a little bit, okay? Bye.